Hey, it's Austin. Hey, Austin, how are you? Getting ready for a good weekend? So I've got my Regex mug out. Here we go. Nice. In honor of the video. Let's see. So yeah, I ran a 5K this morning. Felt good. Running a 10K tomorrow. So my weekend's looking good from that. Hopefully. Yeah, so let's see. So this week we did a regex video, which has actually gotten some good response. So I think that's great. I think regex is actually an interesting thing to look at. It's a great tool to have in your toolkit. Hi, Sina. Hope I got that right. Yep, got my regex mug. Yeah, so, but before we begin, I actually wanted to show you a neat little trick. So just to encourage y'all to come on over to the Blue Collar Coder Discord server, which is linked to in the description down below. I added a new bot. I was watching, I don't know, what is it? I think I was watching like Pennywise last night, and I was just kind of coding, random stuff, right? And I was like, yeah, there was this other live streamer that did like a bot in their Discord server to go and manage their hue lights. So behind me, you can see what's on the Saturn V rocket back there are two hue lights. And if you go over here to pretty much anywhere on the Blue Collar Coder site or Discord server, you can give it, let's see, just give it a color, and we'll say purple. There you go. And then it'll go set it to purple. So you can control my light, feel like you are part of the production process. So it's a good reason to show up on the server and have some fun with that. Go for it. I don't think it's gonna damage anything if things go wrong. So yeah, have some fun with that. Make it any color you want. That's all good. And it understands all of the RGB standard web color syntax. I just use the I think the colors npm module, so you can go and set it to whatever you want. Anyway, in fact, actually, if we get through the regex stuff, we can go take a look at how that was done if you want to make it for yourself. And yeah, it's just fun. So, but let's take a look at our video of the day. So the idea was that we had a list of sort of numbers, kind of strings. I mean, this is the kind of thing you might see as a data engineer. You're getting some muddy data here. You've got an empty string. You got a string that says what it is. It's not a number. You got one address. You got a 503 area code number, which is what we're targeting. Actually, you know what? I'll add one more, and bring it without that. Get an 800 number. Got a number without an area code. You know what? I'm going to go and add another one. I'm going to add an old school number, Cherry Hill 5. That would be your exchange. You have to be really old to know what that is. And then, let's see, we got a number that's also got some extra stuff. So the output of this should be, and let me go grab this guy, because we're going to need that only these two telephone numbers pass. We're building a filter, and the filter is not only that it's a valid phone number, but also that it's in the 503 area code. So, okay, let's go take a look at our little test app. We're bringing in Chalk. We're bringing in the list of numbers that has all that noise in it. We're bringing in the list of good numbers. And then we are bringing in an implementation that doesn't use regex. So I want to compare and contrast using regex versus, well, doing it kind of imperatively. Like, I hate regex. I don't want to use regex. I want to go write, slice code and all that. Ugh, terrible. So just to convince you that's probably a bad way to go, we're going to show you like this check phone number. It is a higher order function, which means it's a function that returns another function. So this, when you call it and give it an area code, it gives you back another function called, and I just named it is 503. And then you can use that as a filter. So in this case, you're going to have phone, and that's going to go over here and do phone like that. And then we go and print out the results. So let's go take a look at this. Let's go run it. It's all in TypeScript, so I'm using NodeMon and TS. We're going to go take a look at that if you want to see how this works over here. So this is just using NodeMon. So every time we change any of these files, it automatically reruns this. And the reason that it's up at the top here is because if you look over here, the first thing I do is a console.clear. I didn't know that existed, honestly. Never had a reason to use it, but it looks really good when you're doing this. So, okay, we can see it's got it's a 3-column display. Look at that, nice. The first column is, let's see, if it should be included. So in this case, these numbers, yes. Anything, the first column is like canonical true. The second column is what our algorithm actually came up with, and then the third column is, well, the data, so you can know if that's true or not. Like, so if I go over here and I can say, well, pass everything, so just true, then that comes up all greens, and that's not good. Ideally, this column should equal that column over there. So let's just bring back this guy, and away we go. But let's go take a look at our imperative. Is that what the right word? Imperative, I guess? I don't know. The non-regex version of this. So we are exporting a function that takes an area code and returns another function that takes a phone number. So it's, again, a higher order function. It then uses split, which, by the way, is also regex. But we're not going to use it in regex mode because we hate regexes. So it's going to split based on the dash. And if it finds 3 parts, or if it doesn't find 3 parts, or if any part of the first or second value is not a digit, and it doesn't have digits in it, which, by the way, so we're looking over here, this takes a string. Again, it splits on nothing, which gives you basically an array of all of the characters. And then it does the seldom used every method, which basically says that this will return true if every single element of this array passes this predicate, where the predicate in this case is that the letter is between the ASCII 0 and ASCII 9. So anyway, so assuming all that works, we then go check to see if the area code matches. So basically just take that first part. We say, does it match the area code string, and or does it match the area code string with brackets around it? So not awesome, and a lot. It is very literate. It's big, and it also doesn't work in any other situation, right? You have to be running in TypeScript. You have to invoke it. Blah blah blah. Like, there's no other place that I can use this thing. Right? So I'm not getting any value out of this code beyond just this filter. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to build a regular expression. So we'll say const phone re, so phone regular expression. And then the way that you do a regular expression shorthand in JavaScript is just to use the double slash like that. But you have to, that's just a comment unless you put something into it. So in that case, I'm going to put a dot, which means basically any character. So let's go and then use that to match against phone. So I'm going to say, does that regular expression then, am I using test? Let's give that a try. Is it test or match? I'm not sure. So yep, there we go. It's test. So when you're actually working on the phone, on the RE itself, you can use a test method on it, and you basically just give it a string, and it says true or false if this matches that. So what this is saying is the dot is a special value. It stands for any character. And what it's saying is you have to have, this expression basically says at least one character. So that's why this first thing doesn't show up, because that's actually an empty string. So there are no characters in it. So it's the only one that doesn't pass. But if we wanted to pass that one too, we could do dot star. You see this one a lot, actually. Out in other contexts, you'll see people putting, and that's basically regex for anything goes, right? It's fine. Just go do anything you want. Yeah, have you changed the color at all? You should change the color. Let's go. Come on, have some fun with it. Let's go color dark green. Let's see. I think that's gonna do well on that Saturn V rocket. Oh, that's cool. All right, nice. Okay. All right. So that's obviously not what we want. So first we want to start working with numbers here. So we can just bring in a number. Let's say I used 7. Let's use 2. Let's see. So we just give it 2, and basically it finds anything that's got a 2 in it. So 27 Charing Cross Place. This guy's got some 2s. This guy's got some 2s. This guy's got some 2s. One or more. Well, all it's looking for in this case is 1, 2 anywhere in the string. So if I want to maybe pull out this 2, 2, 2, I could just say 2, 2, 2. There you go. Voila. And now we got just this guy. If I wanted to just kind of say, well, hey, okay, all I need is a 503 area code, just do 503. Do it like that. And that's actually pretty good, except that it catches this guy too. So, that's kind of interesting. But what we really want is we want to start building out the pattern for a number. So what you can do is create ranges of characters that satisfy a condition. So we're going to here's my cheat sheet. I think I linked to this in the description. But you can give it basically a set of any kind of character to fit in a position. So in this case, I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to say 0 to 9, like that. And that'll find any number that exists once in this string. And there you go. So if I wanted to find 3 of those in a row, I could just go and make that 3 across like that. And now Charing Cross Place doesn't qualify because it's only 2 numbers sequentially like that. This guy, Cherry Hill 5, still goes because it's got 3 right there. So let's go ahead and take it down to just, or add in a dash, and then another 3, a dash, and a number. And so it basically be 3 numbers, and then 4 numbers. That's cool. Okay, so seems good-ish so far. Now we're bringing in this guy, though, and I don't think we want this one because it's got this, home number in there. It's not my home number, by the way. Please don't call that. I don't know what that is. Okay, I just made it up. So what we can do is we can say, there you go. Nice to see you on the Discord server. We can use some other parts of the cheat sheet, and one of them is to say that this has to start at the start. So we'll go back over here, and we just put in the caret. And that basically, let's go over our spreadsheet, and it basically says the start of the string is a caret. So we'll save that. And now we got rid of home. But let's just say, for example, let's add in a new errant phone number. I don't know. Let's see. Just copy that and put work, right? That. Okay, so but this one passes because this is at the beginning, unable to see the console. Really? Let's go take a look. Oh, you're right. Oh my God. How's that happening? Sorry, my bad. Wait, hold on. Oh, because of me. I'm sorry. Thank you for pointing that out. People need really always let me know these things, and I will help you. Okay. And thank you for that. That's good. Okay. So we now passed. Everything's like home over here, but this one's now working. And that shouldn't, because it's got this extra stuff on the end. So we'll go back over here to, just get rid of this. We don't need it anymore. We can use another shorthand over on a regex sheet, which would be the end of the string, right? And you see this a lot. So you see start and end, and then everything else in the middle has to qualify, right? Basically, you're saying the entire string has to match the regex. So now these two are dropped off. And it's actually starting to get pretty good here. We're picking up phone numbers. We're not picking up this one, though. So let's go and see if we can pick up that one by just adding in some parentheses. Does that help? Because that's really what the deal is, right? We don't need parentheses over here. So let's save it and go again. Thank you, Mohideen. Like we would have gone through the entire video had you not said something. So thank you so much for pointing that out. I would have gotten to the end of the video and been like, no, it's all ruined. So thank you so much. Okay, but this is interesting. So what have we done here? So we've added these parentheses in, but it seems to have been essentially ignored, right? I mean, we're not getting them here. And the reason that this happens is because parentheses in a regular expression is actually essentially a reserved character. And in order to unreserve it, you got to escape it. And the escape is just backslash like that. And so if I add in backslashes in front of these, then, oh, that's cool. We get the 503 in the parentheses, but we lose all of these because these don't have parentheses, which is kind of a drag. So what we really want to do is get either or. And actually, regex has a way of doing this. So this is going to get real long here. And there is a lot of shorthand that we're going to use to kind of tighten this all up. So don't worry, it's going to get nice and terse pretty soon. But what we can do is we can use that group. So without escaping, these parentheses are actually what they call a group, like that. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, thank you. So what we're going to use is that we're going to use that group. It's called a capture group to basically give it two variations, and you can have any number of variations that you want. But let's go and add in another layer of parentheses around this, and save that. And again, nothing happens, nothing changes. But what we can do is we can pull out this guy and put it in after a pipe, and the pipe is, well, an or. So you're basically saying that this group has to match one of these two different variations. Actually, either has to have the parentheses part or the not a parentheses part. So let's try that out. And there we go. So that's starting to look real good. So now we've got we're basically there, right? We've got everything, all the phone numbers and the right formats are passing. At this point, all we need to do is make sure that we only have the 503. But this is kind of a janky regular expression because, in all honesty, 0 to 9 is actually something that is accounted for already in some of the nice character classes down here. So you can open and close that, I guess. So there is white space, there is not white space, there is digit, not digit. So we're looking for digit because it's a digit. So we can go and take any of these guys. I'm using Command D there to stretch that expression or to stretch that selection. And I can just replace all those with /D. Basically exactly the same thing as before. And now everything's passing same way. So it's a little bit terser, I guess. It's nice. It's certainly smaller. But we can make it even smaller still by doing, so I mentioned early on that you can use star, ./.star, which means any number of characters. You can also use plus, which means one or more of those. Or you can actually give it just kind of number ranges. So you can say, oh, okay, I want whatever that was. So in this case, the D, the digit, I want 3 of those. So I can go take this and replace it with 3. So I'm saying I want 3 digits. If I were to go say 4 in there, then we would lose this guy because it's expecting 4 numbers if it's a parentheses, 3 numbers if it's not. So let's go make that 3. And we'll do the same thing for these. And this guy is 4. And there you go. So there's actually the regex that was on the title card of this video. And it's not a bad regex. I gotta say, it's fairly good. Like, I'm not a regex genius by any means. I'm sure that there's ways that we can trim this down, but I think it's pretty tight. It's pretty good. So now we need to go do some logic on this, right? Now we've got these. Now we want to go and just pare down to the numbers in the 503 area code, which is, by the way, that's not my area code. It's Portland. If you're from the Bay Area, you're probably familiar with like 510, 408, 415, all those. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to go and get whatever that is. So with this first part of it, And we're actually doing that already because there's this capture, because a capture group allows you to go and capture parts of that regex. So I'm just going to do, let's see. So I'm going to process exit out early on. But before you get there, I'm going to go take one of these numbers, like for example, this one, and I'm going to console log that, but let's see, matched against this phone RE. So let's see, match. All right, there you go. Cool. So, all right, let's save it again. So it's on its own. So this basically gives you an array, assuming that match matches. If it doesn't match, it gives you null. If it gives you something back, it's going to be an array. The first part, and I'm not really 100% sure why this is, but it gives you basically that the original string that you had. And then it gives you any capture groups. So in this case, we had the 503, but I could go on, I could make another capture group around this one, and another capture group around this one. And now we've got 503, blah, 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 right? So it's really, you know, you can go and capture just the parts of the string that you want. So I'll take that out. Don't need that. And don't really need this. But what we need to do now is kind of work this a little bit. So now we understand that we're going to get an array back in some cases. But if this is the 0th value in there, then the first value is going to be 503. So, okay, we're going to reverse this. You say phone and then match, and then phone RE. And then because TypeScript supports optional chaining, we can do question mark dot. Sorry, my bad. And then we can just use an array reference. So I can say it's the second item in the array. And I want it to equal 503 as a string like that. Okay, cool. So oh, hey, good. All right, there you go. You're welcome, Rob. See, what Rob is pointing out by saying that Webpack config rules manage regexes is one of the reasons why it's so important to learn regexes really well, because there's so many contexts outside of just JavaScript or TypeScript where they're useful. So, and Webpack configs being one of them. In this case, for example, Webpack configs, you want to know about like, TSX versus TS versus all that. There's a helper website to come up with, right? Yeah. Actually, Regex 101 was one of the websites that I actually put on the description. And it can absolutely help you. There's a number of different variants of the different types of regular expressions. There are slight variations between them. And it's a great tool. I use it actually a lot, particularly on large strings. And when I'm going and like trying to like regex through unstructured text, or maybe if I'm really doing like a poor man's HTML parsing using regex, which is not great. Not the best way to do it, but you know. Okay, so this is close. We're really close. So, but we're losing this 503 in here because this is just saying, well, I only want 503 in there, and it's avoiding this case. So I can just have it flip back and forth, or I could say, 503 or 503. I could do that. Kind of. Oh, whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so it's not, wow. I just kind of came up with syntax on my own on that one. Sorry about that. So the way that I solved this in the video was I went on to add yet another variant of using regexes, and the reason being that I want to show, again, multiple contexts of regexes. So what we're going to do is do .replace, and we're going to use another regex, and we're going to replace whatever we find with nothing. And then in here, we're going to give it another character class, or another character group, not group. What do they call it in here? Range. And we'll just put in parentheses like that. And actually, so this is a weird one. in certain contexts, the characters either are special or not, and they can be confusing. So, for example, in this case, if I were to put a dot in there, it would actually only match a period, right? So when you're specifying a range like this, everything inside the range is actually not escaped, or is not special and doesn't need escaping. It's craziness. So what's going to happen here is we are going to try and replace the parentheses so that we remove the parentheses around the 503. So let's see how that worked. And again, a return where that is a 503. That's not, but we haven't fixed this one. So why is that? Well, there's one other thing that you need to know in terms of, well, there's a lot you need to know in terms of regular expressions, but let's go back over here. And there are these pattern modifiers. And so what's happening here is when you ask for a replace, it finds the first instance of it and then replaces it with whatever it is, but only the first instance. And I think, is there a replace all? No, there's not a replace all. Okay, so, woof, wow. But the way that you can replace every instance in a string is you can use the G modifier for global. So that's going to find, so what was happening was it would find the first parentheses and replace that, and you'd end up with this, right? So that's not good. You want to replace both parentheses. So you use the global modifier, and now we've done 503 across both of them. Very easy. Hey, Vishal, good to see you too. Thanks for showing up. This has been great so far. Great audience participation. In fact, who was it? Let's see. It was Mohideen who saved this video. So awesome. And also, by the way, if you're on the Blue Collar Coder Discord server, feel free to at any time to use the color function. I'm going to color this. Let's see. What's a good something interesting? Hot pink. There we go. And that changes the colors that are on the Saturn V rocket back there. So you can have some fun with that if you're bored of what you're looking at. So this is actually where I left it in the video, but I think we can kind of move it even a little bit better. And what we want to do is, the original function here was kind of interesting. Check phone number was actually a high order component, right? You give it an area code and it would return a function, which would in turn allow you to go and parse through stuff. So how about we go do that? Like, let's go and change this so we'll make a regular expression that works just for 503 codes, and then we don't have to do any of this. We just match against that regular expression. So can we do that? Can we create a new regex for phone, or for area code? How about that? We'll take an area code. It's going to be a string. And we're going to return a regex. Okay, that sounds about right. Oh, wait, hold on. My bad. Return a regex. There we go. I was like, I'm going to add another. I need to add another arrow. But I'm using my arrow already. Anyway, okay, so colon. And what we're going to do is we're going to say we want a new regex. And this is the OO way of creating a regex. And you could just go and put in this case, this. And that's basically the equivalent. That's fine. But you can also use a string. So in that case, you don't use the beginning or the ending slash, but everything else goes. Okay, like that. But I don't really, I want to just kind of hard code these two, right? So it's this one and this one, I want to be area code. So what I'm going to use is also a text template. So I'm going to do a text template like this. And then I'll change this D3 / D3, which is giving us 3 digits, and just replace that with area code. I haven't tried this, by the way. This is diving without a net, whatever. This is all of that. Okay. So conceivably, we could say phone RE. I'll go. I don't know. I'll put this in a comment, I guess. Is the regex for area code, and then give it a 503. And let's see. Does that work? Oh, nope, it didn't. Okay. Great. Well, okay, hold on. Let me see. So if I just want to test in this case, I'm going to do phone RE test against the phone number. Okay. Oh, nope, didn't like it. So why? Let's go play. Let's play with this. So why didn't it like it? So let's go console log out that regular expression. In JavaScript, it's actually usually pretty good about telling you what the regular expression is or not. All right, come on. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm clearing. If I need to put I need to put that after the clear. Okay, that looks good. Why? I need a double backslash. Haha. Okay, so here we go. So we need, because it's in a string, and the strings in turn are escaped, you need double backslashes like that. Hey, voila. Okay, so it's nice, right? The console log in JavaScript is dumping basically the regular expression that we created. We're now taking, you have a function that gives you a generic regular expression based on some inputs. So you can imagine in the real world being able to use this, to make it generic. If that helps. Okay. Actually, let's work a little bit on what Rob was talking about and talk about how this is usable in multiple contexts. Rob mentioned the Webpack config. In the video I used first off VS Code. So over here in VS Code, let's go and let's do a search. And we'll go and add in our regular expression we had before and see what we see. So I'm going to actually just take out the phone number part, and I'll talk about why that is in a second. So I'll search for that. Okay, cool. Well, it found it only in that spot. And the reason being that I didn't enable the regex here, and now it parses this as a regular expression, and we get back the numbers. In the real world, do you think it's a machine learning problem exporting a phone number? To train up a model on phone numbers? I don't think so, honestly. I think it's so well known that there's only X number of countries in the world, and it's pretty easy. If it's going to be a +1 number, then it's going to follow the US phone numbers. I think you could pretty easily create like the canonical list of all the phone numbers and all the regulations. I'd be surprised if it hasn't been done already. Machine learning's good for like fuzzy things, and phone numbers I don't think are particularly fuzzy. Okay. Yeah. So look at this. It's finding all the numbers. And so we're getting more reuse out of this. But interestingly, so I didn't show this in the video, but like we could kind of hack on it like we did before. Add a 503 in there, add a 503 in here. And now we should just be, now we're getting only the 503 numbers, and anywhere in our code. That's super nice, super neat. So I'll go and take this regex now. Oh, and the reason that I actually pulled off, let's go and add on the dollar and the caret, is because, again, it's the beginning and the ending of the string. So if you look at what it's returning here without those, there's actually extra stuff on here. There's a couple of spaces before it. There's the quote. There's the quote after and all that. And so if it was to pass, it would have to literally be this, just a single line with just that. So that's why I had to take out the caret and the dollar. So, okay, let's go and copy that. I'll go over here. And let's see if we can use that in another context, in this case, the command line context. So I'll move that away from my video so we don't mess that up. And I'm going to use PCRE grep, which is just an enhanced version of grep that uses the PCRE regular expression format. And we'll give it our regular expression, and then we'll give it anything that we want to match against. And there you go. Nice. Okay, so now I can reuse I've gone through the experience of going and moving my code, my logic from check phone number, where it was all imperative and not regular expressions, into a regular expression. I worked through all the alien syntax of all of that. And now I'm starting to see I'm reaping the benefits. I can now search better inside of my IDE. I can now search using command line tools even better. And let's go and try yet another one. Let's see. ACK is a good one. I just learned about this recently. There's a really nice code grepping tool called ACK. I think it was a brew install. Okay, so I think if you format the original phone number to be 111 by removing all the brackets, etc., it will simplify the regex even more. Okay, so if you format the original phone number to be 111, by removing the brackets, yes. Yeah, I know. Yes, we can certainly but in reality, the actual data is this is an acceptable phone number, and you'd see that. So you're right. You're totally right. You can make it even easier. But what I'm trying to show is more than just about phone numbers. It's about, I don't know, all kinds of good stuff for data engineering, all that. I also want people not to be afraid of regexes because they're a really nice tool. Really nice tool. Okay, so actually, yeah, that's it for this week's regex. If you have any ideas for common problems that you've seen either in data engineering or in other places where you've had troubles putting together regexes that work, I mean, very common spaces are like if you're using a forms management system inside of React or just Vue, Angular, whatever. Oftentimes those will have like validation regexes. So if you got some weird ones in there where you're like, I don't know, let me know, and maybe we'll turn it into a video if it has some broader generic appeal. But before we get into heading off to the Discord server to have a live chat where you can just ask me questions and stuff, I thought it might be fun to look at the little bot code that's driving this this light back here. So again, you can go over to Discord. There's a new light bot on there, and you can set the light bot to whatever color you want. So in this case, we'll go color, I don't know. I want to say paisley, but paisley is not a color. Let's see. Okay. Yellow. How about that? That's not going to be particularly interesting, but whatever. Okay. All right. Is that yellow? I'm torn. I'm not sure that's quite yellow. Oh my gosh. Bioinformatics. Huge. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, where you're doing a lot of ACTG, all of that, trying to find the right genomes so you can do your CRISPR stuff and modify some genomes. Okay, so let's see. So last night I started by just playing around with the hue lights directly, and then I was like, hey, there you go. Somebody took me up on the offer. Thank you, Modine. That's awesome. Yeah, feel free to play. Just go play. It's fine. It's fun. It's not going to break it. Okay, so I first did the hue light stuff. So let's go take a look at that. It's actually pretty easy. The package is called Node Hue API. If you don't know about hue lights, they're from Philips. They're programmable. You get basically a little base station, and then you get a bunch of lights, and then you've got an app on the phone. But hey, who wants to do that, right? You can play with this on your own. So I have two lights. They're named Jack, being me, Office 1 and Office 2. And then I basically go and there's the way you find the hub is you use this UPnP search. You connect to it. I've created an environment variable that has this encrypted username on it. But that's all kind of in the basic documentation for the Node Hue API about how to set up that user, and it's actually quite nice. And then once I've got those office light arrays, I'm basically just going to go through, grab the light, and then set the light state. I said it needs to be on, it needs to have an RGB value, the brightness is at 100, and I want to transition to it fast. I don't know what you could do whatever you want really on that one. And then, so this is basically just generic functionality for setting the lights, right? But how do I actually connect that to the bot? Well, the bot, I used Discord Akiro, and it's actually quite a nice little bot thing. I was kind of surprised. I think it might have been Ruby that had like a super bot thing a while back, and it basically was a single bot framework that allowed you to connect to all kinds of different servers like Slack, Discord, whatever. I couldn't find that for NPM. If you know that, let me know. I would love to know that. This is actually quite nice, though. There you go. Nice. All right. So it's actually kind of fun. Like, it's like you guys are connecting through the real world into my little office space in the corner of my house. Anyway, so the first thing we do in the index.js is we create the client. I get, again, a nice little Discord bot key. There's a nice Google page on how to, or web page on how to go and set up your Discord bot. But all we really have to do is create that client. It goes through a list of a directory full of commands. I don't really like that so much. I just wanted to go and add in a command, but whatever. They're going to do all the work for me. I'll do whatever they want. And then you subclass yourself from a command. In this case, our command is color. And once you get the message, I'm going to use a regex. I'm going to peel off the /color at the beginning of that, so we can see a little bit of what we learned. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think color black is going to work. I tried that. Yeah, good call on trying that, though. Okay, so what we're saying is we'll go through this regex. So we're looking at the beginning. We want a slash. Now a slash is reserved, so we have to go and escape it. So escape slash, then color. And then /s is white space. So we go back over to our character classes. /s is white space. And we're basically saying one or more, given the plus. So you could actually go over here to, my next door neighbor is trying to spoil Mandalorian for me. Don't do that, please. Getting like pinged, like, have you seen Mandalorian yet? So I could add on like I could add on like a bunch of spaces there and do color, I don't know, dark green or whatever, and that should work. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it does work because I'm replacing one or more white space characters with nothing, and so that's basically like peeling off the beginning, and then everything else is a color, and I run it through color parse, which is a very simple NPM library that has a bunch of colors in it, as well as RGB. Can you do? I think you can do that too. Let's see. So color, RGB, 255, 80, 22. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, look at that. Oh, wow. Ooh, I like that one. That's cool. Okay. And then I just use this async function that I set up, which goes off the Hue bridge and sets it up. And then, writes back, hey, I set it to this. Not bad. I guess the only thing I would add on to this is I would need some way to persist this beyond running it on my machine. So this is only available when I actually am running this particular thing. So I'd probably just go and maybe set up maybe like a Raspberry Pi or something. It has to be on my local network, so I can't really set it up on like a Docker instance unless I want to VPN it through, and gosh, that'd be a lot of work. So anyway, I hope you enjoy that. I hope you have some fun. I hope that if you have Hue lights or other programmable lights in your own home network, I think it's just a fun little toy. I think it took me about an hour last night to kind of throw this together and have some fun with it. Just, fun little experiments like that in IoT. Okay, but now if you're over on Discord, I'm going to be over in the voice channel on general in just a few minutes, and we're just going to have a chat. If you want to, you can show up. You can ask me any questions you want. It's not going to be recorded. It's not going to be on the live stream, and it's just a way of, you can ask me any questions you want. Even non-technical is fine, and I just look forward to seeing you there. I'll be there for probably about 15 minutes or so, and then I'll have to do what else I'm going to do for the rest of the day. But if you don't come by, be sure to have a great weekend. Have a lot of fun and thoughts, and all good thoughts for folks out there who are suffering from the COVID stuff. I have a good friend of mine who was just diagnosed with it, so that's hitting pretty hard. But so I'll see you over in the Discord pretty soon.